What was the approximate rice production of Vietnam in 2004? So, of course, Vietnam is not one of the bars here. Vietnam appears as this slice of the pie over here. So, what's going on with this pie on the side here? This is Indochina, and Indochina, of course, is this bar. It has a length of 80, and so this entire pie is 80, and Vietnam, which is 28%, should be 28% of 80. Now, right there, you may be tempted to reach for your calculator. Let's not do that. Let's think about this. 80. Of course, 10% of 80 is 8. 20% of 80 is twice that, 16. 30% is 24. So if we're at 28%, we're going to be between 16 and 24, a lot closer to 24. So something slightly less than 24. Right away, that's enough to zero in on answer choice B. Bangladesh accounted for what percent of world rice production in 2004? So, of course, Bangladesh is not a column. We find it over here as a slice of pie, and this pie is Indochina. So Indochina is represented by this bar. It has a total length of 80. And Bangladesh is 33% of 80, or in other words, 1/3 of 80. Well, let's think about this. 8 over 3, that is 2 2/3, or in other words, 2.666. So that means 80 over 3 would be 26.6. So 26.6, that's approximately how many million metric tons of rice Bangladesh produced in 2004. And this 26.6 is what percent of 386? Oh my God, you might panic and think, I need a calculator. Let's think about this. 1% of that number would be 3,680,000. 10% would be 36.8. Well, this number here, it's a lot closer to 10%. It's definitely less than 10%, but it's a lot closer to 10%. It's certainly not down around 1%. And right away, that's enough to isolate a single answer choice. Answer choice B, less than 10%, but not close to 1%. If from 2004 to 2005, Vietnam's rice production increases by 25%, and all the other countries in the Indochina group maintain the same levels of production, then the rice production of the Indochina group would increase by what percent? So because this is all ratios, we don't need to figure out exact values. We can work with the percents themselves. So right now, in 2004, they're producing 100%. So we'll just call that 100. That's their current total. Now Vietnam here, which is 28, is going to increase by 25%, or 1/4. What's 1/4 of 28? That's 7. So there's going to be an additional 7. Vietnam's share itself would be up to 35 at that point. That means that the whole circle would gain 7. So instead of being 100, it would be 107. Well, that's a 7% increase, and that is answer choice D. China accounted for approximately what percent of world rice production in 2004? So the top of our fraction, China, that would be this value from the graph here, which is about, let's say 112 million metric tons. And that is what percent of this 368 some odd million tons. And so we want to know about 112 over 368, what is the percentage there? You may be tempted to reach for your calculator, but let's do some approximation. Why don't we just take the first two digits, 11 over 36. What would that be as a percent? Well, we know that 12 over 36, that's 1/3. So that would be 33.3%. And so 11 over 36 would have to be slightly less than that, slightly less than 33 1/3. Well, immediately, that leads us to answer choice C. So without touching our calculator at all, we can get immediately to the answer. Suppose China's production remains more or less constant from 2004 to 2006. Suppose India is able to sustain the same percent increase in both of those years. By what percent would India's rice production have to increase from 04 to 05 and again from 05 to 06 so that it equaled China's rice production in 2006. So China right now is about 112. India is around 88. And so we're going to increase 88 by some percent, then increase it by that percent again, and it should equal 112. So the easiest way to think about this is just treat the percent increase as a multiplier. So we'll just call R the multiplier of the unknown percent increase. And so after 1 year, we would have 88 times R. After 2 years, we'd have 88 times R squared. And this 88 times R squared should equal 112. So 88 R squared equals 112, or in other words, R squared equals 112 over 88. On the calculator, we figure out that's something like 1.272727, etc. Now we take a square root to solve for R. We get something like 1.12815. And of course, this is a multiplier, which means it's 1 plus the percentage. So this is the 1, and then these decimals here represent the percentage, 12.8. And that is, in fact, the answer choice B. Which bars in the graph, if they increased 50% from 2004 to 2005, would be equal to or greater than the current 2004 value of the bar immediately above it on the graph? So first of all, let's look at India. We look at India. This is the length, so cut that in half, that's about that much. And if we add that much, 50%, we'd be out here, it'd be larger than China. So India is a yes. Indochina has this length, 80,000. 50% is 40,000, double that, that's 120. That's larger than India. So if Indochina increased by 50%, it would be larger than India. That's correct. Oceania is about 45,000, maybe 44,000. Cut that in half, that's about 22. Add that to it, that's about 66. That puts it around here. That's not as big as Indochina. So that one does not work. East Asia is really tiny. We could double it, and it would still not be as big as Oceania. That's not going to work. Other, it's about 10,000. If we cut that in half, that's 5,000. Add that on, we get up to 15,000, which would be slightly higher than East Asia. So other does work. Brazil appears to be about 8,000. If we cut that in half, that's 4,000. Double it, that puts us about 12,000, which is higher than other. That works. US is about 6,000. Half of that is 3,000. Double that, that's around 9,000. That is just larger than Brazil, but that still does work. And so the answers here are A, B, E, F, and G.